folks, today I'm heading out to do something a little bit different. I actually am going to go out and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you on the screen, and then I'm going to show you on the camera, on the underwater camera. I want to show you what I'm looking at on the surface, but then drop a camera below and take a look at what's going down underneath. So it will kind of give you a better idea of what you're looking at and what I'm looking at on my bottom machines. So I think this is one of the best ways to kind of portray, you know, the difference between, let's say, a bunch of rocks and maybe a ledge and something like that. So I think this is one of the best ways to do it, is utilizing the underwater camera, sending it down there, and then showing you exactly what I'm looking at, what it looks like on my machines, and then what it looks like on the camera. So when you see it on your machine, it will give you that idea of, ooh, this looks pretty good, or I definitely want to fish this area. So that's my main goal for today. Also to do the Friday fishing forecast, to let everybody know, you know, what's going to happen this weekend. The winds look like they're going to come up a little bit. There's a higher chance of rain, so you're going to have to be kind of looking out for that. From what I'm seeing on the future radar, there's a big blob of thunderstorms that are going to come down from the north early afternoon. So I'm trying to gauge what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm supposed to take out our sponsor HH Insurance, but I might hold off on that simply because I don't want to be put in a situation where we can't get in a good fishing day, and that might exactly be what happens. So anyway, we're going to go out, we're going to do the underwater camera stuff, show you on the machines what I'm looking at, and then get into the Friday fishing forecast. So let's go. We're going to go try to find some bait really quick so we can at least fish it and give you an idea. So let's go see if we can find some bait. Well folks, I caught some bait. I'm gonna probably have to make quick work of this because there's storms popping up all over the place, which I knew that there was going to be. It just took me a little longer to catch bait. When I got it. But anyway, what I want to do is I want to come up to this spot, mark it on the side imaging, and then show you what it looks like down the bottom. Now I don't know what it's going to be able to show because the water quality is pretty dirty right now, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to set up on this spot, show you what I'm looking at, and then send the camera down. Okay, now as you can see off to my left here, I have some rocky bottom, and I'm coming to this one waypoint that I want to see if I can get set up on. I want to just get past it because the tide is going this way, so I want to just get past this mark. You can start seeing the ledge here, so I'm right on the edge of the ledge. Some good marks, some rubble off to the edge here, off to the side here. I'm going up the ledge now. See it off to the left here. So what I'm going to do is get it set, spot lock. Now the wind is coming in this way, the tide is going this way, so it should set me up perfectly on this spot. So once I get the trolling motor set, and there's bait out here, so there's a lot of good indications. So I'm going to send the camera down and see what we see. Hopefully the water is clear enough to where we can see something. So basically what I've got here is I've got a Chum King with weight on it, and then I've got my line in a bucket, so it keeps the line nice and soft so it doesn't harden up and it doesn't get tangled up. And what I do is I just send it down. Now unfortunately I don't know which direction it's going to stop and face, but that's not a big deal because I can lift it off the bottom. So it's on the bottom now. I'll just tie it off to the cleat and then let it sit there for a little bit and see what we see And then I'm going to start dropping some baits down. Well, as you can see, folks, with the underwater footage, you can see that there's rocks and there's coral and there's all kinds of stuff down there, and it's right on the edge of the ledge, so it's dropping down into the shipping channel itself. And as you can see, there are a ton of snapper there. So it's, as soon as this bait is getting to the bottom, those snapper are on it, especially the cut bait. So when you're seeing what I saw on the side imaging and looking to see what you see in the water on the camera like that, it allows you to really get a good idea of exactly what you're looking for and looking at when you're seeing it on your side imaging. But as I tell people all the time, you want to make sure that you check out anything that looks out of the ordinary, because most of Tampa Bay is flat, sandy, or grassy bottom. You do have your spoil areas where they've actually dredged out the shipping channels and poured the rock and stuff like that there, and you can catch plenty of fish at the spoil areas. So you definitely just want to change it up and you know, see what works for you. And just, it takes time. People tell me all the time, well, you know, it looks like you got all these good spots. Well, it's taken time for me to go around and actually look for new areas and new spots. We have well over 1,000 waypoints inside the skyway itself. So it allows me to really jump around a lot. When the fish aren't in one particular area, I'll go to another area until I eventually find them. And so I've been catching fish in this area for the last few times I've been coming out, so I decided to come back here. I wanted to drop down the camera to show everybody what it looked like on film. So I'm going to continue to fish a little bit more. Let's go ahead and get into the Friday fishing forecast. Like I said earlier, it looks like the winds are going to pick up some. The forecast has been up and down, up and down, up and down. One day it says 1.6, the next day it says, you know, 2 foot. Now it's saying 2.3 foot in the afternoon. And there's going to be spotty showers, like there's showers all past me here, over here. There's one coming at me in front of me. It's building still, so I'm watching that one very carefully because I hate being caught on the water when it's stormy. So I'm up in the air about going out tomorrow. I'm going to give it probably a couple more hours and decide what we're going to do. I can catch just as many fish inside the bay as I can outside. You just don't catch the variety. Somebody asked me the other day on our last video, which I apologize, I did not know that there was a lot of black space in there. I've been editing a lot of videos lately. But he says, well, why are you targeting gags when they're out of season? I'm not necessarily targeting gags, I'm actually targeting snapper. Gags are just a bycatch. I can't help what hits our line. It's something that we don't go out and say, okay, we're targeting gags today. But it does help us know where they're going to be when the season does open, which is in September. So it kind of gives me a good idea of where these fish are going to be. So let's go ahead and get into the Friday fishing forecast, talk about the weather, the tides, and the schooners. On Saturday, we have a high tide at 6:51 a.m. at a 1.5 foot. Then we have a low tide at 1.1 foot at 11:36 a.m. Then we have a high tide at 5:44 p.m. at a 2.1 foot. On Sunday, we have a high tide at 7:24 a.m. at a 1.7 foot. Then we have a low tide at 1:09 p.m. at a 0.9 foot. And we have a high tide at 7:07 p.m. at a 1.7 foot. For the schooners, on Saturday, we have a major feeding time from 5:14 a.m. to 7:14 a.m. Then we have a minor feeding time from 11:45 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. Then we have another major feeding time from 5:31 p.m. to 7:31 p.m. On Sunday, we have a major feeding time from 6:02 a.m. to 8:02 a.m. Then we have a minor feeding time from 12:47 p.m. to 1:47 p.m. And we have another major from 6:18 p.m. to 8:18 p.m. Another snapper. Well, folks, that concludes the Friday fishing forecast. I hope that you guys learned a little bit from this video, showing you on the machine what to look for. And like I said before, if anything looks off, go ahead and check it out, because you never know. There's been small little pockets that I have found in shallower water, in 15 feet, 12 feet, that hold fish that I literally freeline pinfish to. So anything that looks abnormal, it doesn't hurt to stop and fish it, especially if you have a spot lock trolling motor. You just spot lock on it, try it. If you don't catch anything, then you move on. But if you have an underwater camera, that will allow you to drop down and see if there's anything down there. When that whole red tide issue came through this area and went across the St. Pete, I literally stopped by 50 different spots from outside the Little Manatee all the way to the port, dropping down the camera, dropping down bait. Did not catch a fish, did not see a fish. As soon as I got past the port channel, I started seeing fish and started catching fish. So the camera can actually help you find and locate fish. Technology, as I always say, utilize it because it's there. Take advantage of it because it's there. It will help you become a better fisherman. That's how I learned when the tides are running hard inside the bay, that these fish will hunker down on the bottom. And when the tide is slacked off, they come up off the bottom, which you saw in this video right here. Those fish were actually coming up off the bottom because that tide was slower. So just remember that. Again, I just want to say thank you to everybody for all of the support. The orders keep flowing in, the retailers keep ordering, so that's telling me that people are going to their stores and buying our product. I want to give a shout out to all of our retailers. We have Reel 'em In Bait and Tackle, Palmetto Bait and Tackle. We have Tampa Fish, our St. Pete, our Tarpon Fishing Outfitters, Lakeland Fishing Outfitters, and then Little Manatee River Bait and Tackle. So I just want to say thank you to all of them that carry our jigs and all of our other gear. So if you guys are in the areas of those places, stop by and see them, buy some gear from them. Again, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Fish more, catch more, and we'll see you on the flip side.